I used to think that rejection was the worst thing that could ever happen to someone, that it was a personal failure, a sign that I wasn't good enough, that I would never make it. I spent years avoiding rejection, letting fear dictate every decision I made. I avoided opportunities, stopped myself from pursuing dreams, and even held back in relationships because I was terrified of hearing the word no. I thought my life would be safer if I never risked failure, if I never opened myself up to disappointment. And for a while, it seemed like that strategy worked. I was comfortable. I was safe. But I was also unhappy, unfulfilled, and quietly miserable. The turning point came on a seemingly ordinary day. I had applied for a job I thought was perfect for me. I had sent out my resume, written a heartfelt cover letter, and imagined myself walking into that office with confidence. I dreamed about the life I would have if I got it. I pictured myself thriving, respected, happy, finally doing something meaningful with my skills. When the reply came, I felt my stomach drop. It was a rejection email, short, polite, but devastating. I read it over and over, each time hoping the words would change, hoping they would somehow say, "Just kidding, you're hired." But no, the answer was final. I was not what they were looking for. At first, I was crushed. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. I questioned everything about myself. I wondered if I was talented enough, smart enough, capable enough. The self-doubt was suffocating. I thought about all the times I had failed, all the doors that had closed in my face, and all the opportunities I had been too scared to chase. For a moment, I wanted to give up. I wanted to crawl into a corner and pretend the world didn't exist. But then, something unexpected happened. Amid the sadness, amid the fear, I noticed a small, quiet thought rising in the back of my mind. What if this rejection was not the end, but the beginning? What if being told no was actually a gift in disguise? I know it sounds strange, and at the time it sounded even stranger to me. But I began to think about every rejection I had ever faced in my life. I started to see a pattern, a strange thread weaving through my failures, telling me something important. I remembered a time in high school when I had tried out for the basketball team and didn't make it. At the time, I was heartbroken. I felt worthless. But because I didn't make the team, I discovered something else I loved: writing. I joined the school newspaper, and it changed my life. Writing became my escape, my passion, my voice. If I had made that team, I might have never found my calling. I thought about college applications, internships, jobs I didn't get, friendships that didn't last, romantic relationships that ended before they even began. Each rejection felt like a door closing, a roadblock in my life. But now I realized that every no had redirected me toward something better, something more aligned with who I truly was. Rejection wasn't my enemy, it was my guide. That day, after reading the rejection email from the job, I decided to change my perspective. I refused to see rejection as a failure. Instead, I decided to see it as a lesson, a push, a redirection. I reminded myself that life has a funny way of nudging us toward our purpose, even when it feels cruel or unfair. Every no is a signal that there's something bigger waiting for you, something that fits you better than you could have imagined. So I did something I had never done before. I stopped letting fear control my actions. I stopped waiting for perfect opportunities or guaranteed success. I started taking risks. I started saying yes to things I would have never dared to try before. I sent out more job applications, pursued projects I was passionate about, and reached out to people I admired. I did not let rejection scare me anymore because I had finally realized that rejection was not a reflection of my worth. It was a reflection of life redirecting me toward the path I was meant to walk. And then something amazing happened. The more I embraced rejection, the more opportunities began to appear. Doors I didn't even know existed opened. I started meeting people who inspired me, people who challenged me, people who pushed me to grow. I found jobs and projects that I loved, work that fulfilled me, and experiences that shaped me in ways I never imagined. I discovered that the only reason I had been afraid before was because I had mistaken rejection for failure, when in reality, it was freedom. Freedom to find my true path. I realized that rejection also taught me resilience. Each time someone said no, I learned how to pick myself up, dust myself off, and keep going. I learned how to trust myself even when the world didn't. I learned how to separate my self-worth from other people's opinions. Rejection became a training ground for strength, courage, and persistence. It taught me patience. It taught me to value my time, energy, and effort, and to invest them only in things that truly mattered. The more I faced rejection, the less I feared it. I began to see that the things I was most afraid of, the disappointments, the failures, the doors closing in my face, were the very things that were shaping me, molding me into a stronger, wiser, more capable version of myself. I started to crave challenges because I knew that even if I failed, I would come out better, stronger, and more prepared for the next opportunity. One of the biggest lessons I learned from rejection is that it forces you to define your own success. Before, I measured myself by other people's approval, the job I got, the recognition I received, the relationships I maintained. But rejection showed me that the only approval that truly matters is my own. It taught me to trust my instincts, follow my passions, and create my own path, regardless of whether anyone else understood or supported it. Rejection also taught me gratitude. I realized that every no was saving me from something that wasn't right for me. Every failure, every closed door was guiding me toward a life that was richer, more meaningful, and more aligned with my true self. I learned to appreciate the process, to embrace the journey, and to see beauty in the struggle. I learned that life isn't about avoiding pain or disappointment. It is about using those experiences to grow, to learn, and to become the person you're meant to be. Looking back now, I can see that rejection didn't just save my career or my opportunities, it saved my life. It saved me from settling, from living a life dictated by fear. It saved me from mediocrity, from giving up on my dreams before I even tried. It saved me from believing the lie that my worth is determined by other people's opinions. Rejection forced me to confront myself, to face my fears, and to rise above them. And in doing so, it revealed to me the most important truth of all, that the only thing that can truly stop you is the fear of rejection itself. I want you to understand this, because I know how it feels to be afraid, to feel small, to doubt yourself. I know how tempting it is to shrink back, to avoid risk, to play it safe. But I promise you, the moment you embrace rejection, the moment you stop fearing it, your life changes. Every no becomes a stepping stone, every failure becomes a lesson, and every disappointment becomes a gift. Life begins to open up in ways you never thought possible, and opportunities you couldn't even imagine start to appear. So the next time you face rejection, don't run from it. Don't take it personally. Don't let it define you. Instead, lean into it. Ask yourself what it's trying to teach you. Ask yourself how it can redirect you to something better. Trust that life has a bigger plan than you can see, and that every no is nudging you closer to the life you are truly meant to live. Rejection is not the enemy. It is your greatest teacher, your most honest guide, and your secret weapon for growth. Remember, the people who never face rejection never truly grow. They never discover their potential. They never learn the strength that lies within them. But you, the one who is willing to face rejection, the one who is willing to risk failure, the one who is willing to embrace the discomfort, you are unstoppable. You are capable of achieving things you once thought impossible. You are destined for a life beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond limits. I speak from experience when I say this. Rejection saved my life. It transformed me from someone who lived in fear to someone who lives with courage. It transformed my failures into lessons, my disappointments into opportunities, and my fears into fuel. And it can do the same for you. The moment you stop fearing rejection, the moment you stop letting it control you, is the moment you take control of your life. So go ahead, step into the world, take the risks, chase the dreams, apply for that job, start that project, speak your truth, and put yourself out there. When you hear no, smile, learn, and keep moving forward. Every rejection is a stepping stone. Every failure is a lesson. Every closed door is a guide. And somewhere along that path, you will discover a life that is bigger, brighter, and more beautiful than you ever imagined. Rejection saved my life, and it can save yours too. It's not the end of the story. It's the beginning. The beginning of courage, growth, and freedom. The beginning of a life lived fully, boldly, and unapologetically. Embrace it, welcome it, learn from it, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible.